And what's this horse's name?
This is Champ.
Champ, okay.
This is the Champ.
No doubt named after the man of the house, George Edward Foreman, two-time heavyweight boxing champion, world-class salesman,
And you're knocking out the fat.
and father of 10.
Now, what's your son's name, George?
This is George right here. His name is George.
And yes, he did name all 5 of his sons George.
George Edward Foreman. 5 sons, all named George. You got Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Kenny Norton, Ron Lyle. You let those people hit you on the head and see how many names you're going to remember. It would be confusing.
So you kept it simple.
I kept it simple. I never forget a name.
And he's co-written a book about his sons, a children's story called Let George Do It. The parent company of the publisher also owns CBS.
You learn George, that word, then you learn it again. Next thing you know, you can have a whole book. 60% of the words in that book are George. That's the part I wrote.
Foreman lives on 40 acres outside of Houston with his 5th wife and many of his children.
You didn't get all the things you have from boxing.
Oh, no.
I mean,
most of the things you accumulate has nothing to do with boxing.
Yeah, but you got a lot of stuff from the grill, right?
Oh, but no, the grill helps feed them.
The grill,
Has the same legendary cooking performance.
a kitchen appliance that few were buying until George Foreman agreed to market it in exchange for a piece of the company. In the 10 years since, Foreman says they've sold nearly 70 million of the various George Foreman grilling machines.
When you go to the airport sometime and people stop and say, George, we love the grill. That's greater than them telling me, George, you did a good job becoming heavyweight champ of the world.
Add his other endorsements, and it's been estimated that this uncommon man with the common touch has made nearly $250 million as a product pitchman. 3 times his earnings in the ring. Foreman's road to success started in an unlikely place, Houston's tough 5th Ward neighborhood, where poor and hungry led to mean and dangerous. He learned to box at 16, won Olympic gold at 19, and at 24 defeated Joe Frazier to become world champion.
The fight is over. The fight is over.
The next year, he defended his title in Zaire in one of the most famous fights in history, the Rumble in the Jungle against Muhammad Ali.
I beat him up for the first 4 rounds. I think I even beat him up the 6th round too. Then all of a sudden I hit him in the 7th round and he whispered in my ear, "That all you got, George?" That was all I had. You've heard of the rope-a-dope?
Heard of the rope-a-dope.
Well, here's the dope.
At the time, Foreman was devastated.
I was young, only 25 years old. I didn't know what to do. I thought my life was over because when you lose a championship, it's not like you lost a title. You lose yourself because it's like you're not a man anymore.
3 years later, after another loss, Foreman had a religious experience that changed his life.
In a split second, I was dead. Over my head, under my feet, all around me was nothing but loneliness and emptiness and nothingness. And I just said, I don't care if this is death, I still believe there's a God. When I said that, I was rescued out of nothing, alive in that dressing room again with blood flowing through my veins, screaming, Jesus Christ is coming alive in me.
God so loved the world.
There was little left of that mean kid from the 5th Ward. Foreman became an evangelist, preaching first on street corners, then in his own church.
And you took 10 years away from boxing?
From 10 years, I didn't even make a fist. I didn't box, I didn't try to box, I was done with it. I was a preacher, a happy, fat preacher.
He opened the George Foreman Youth and Community Center, a safe place for kids to hang out.
I just wanted to keep them around and keep them out of trouble. Show them how to box because this is what I knew how to do, and yet get the anger out of them.
Why did you go back into the ring again, George?
I went back into boxing, really profound money.
Profound money. You needed the cash.
I had to get back into boxing because I was literally out of money.
So at 37, George Foreman began his comeback. Ridiculed at first, too old, they said, too fat, too slow. But he was also too strong, and in 1994, more than 20 years after he beat Joe Frazier for the title, George Foreman knocked out Michael Moore and was world champion again. No 45-year-old man had ever won the heavyweight title.
Did you get more enjoyment out of boxing the second time around?
Second time around, I was so happy about so many things. It made for a better athlete.
Yeah, and some people have said they heard you say, you might want to do it again, George.
You know,
tell us that's not true.
I want to box again. I'm not going to lie. I even went back into training for a small period of time, getting in shape, ready to go. My wife told me, no, you can't do it.
Okay, so who's the boss?
I haven't gone back.
These days, at 56, there's no time for boxing. Among his projects, he's marketing a line of big and tall clothing for casual male.
What makes the George Foreman line of clothes so special?
Well, most importantly, on all the tags, got George Foreman.
It's got George Foreman.
Yeah.
He's still pitching, and he's still preaching.
That's my calling. To be a preacher is really my calling. It's my job. I only moonlight as a boxer and a salesperson.
This is something the world has never seen. George Foreman in a mini. Are you content with your life, or are you still driven?
I'm driven. I like the life I'm living, but I'm driven because there's so much more to obtain. I'm one of those guys who's gonna have to fall out of the saddle. There's always one more star to reach for, and I'm trying to.